सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम हज़रत सैयदे वुल्दे आदम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम सब नबियों में अफजल व अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम.
Welcome back as we continue. My name is Adnan Burke. Thank you so much for watching MTA Today as we continue our live coverage here from USA Jalsa Salana Day 2. The afternoon program coming up just about an hour and a half from now. But now, let's take a closer look at Humanity First, a charitable organization, all that it provides. Take a listen.
Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity. Thank you very much for the Humanity First work we are doing, and at 68 Jalsa Salana, USA. At Jalsa, you know, it's very important to strengthen both aspects of spiritual life as well as the physical life for the humanity service, both Hukukul Ibad and Hukukullah. So, as part of life of an Ahmadi, Promised Messiah alayhi salam in 9th condition of a Ba'ath, Hazur mentioned that he shall keep himself, herself, occupied in the service of God's creatures for his sake only, and shall endeavor towards the beneficence of mankind to the best of his her good even abilities and powers. So with these 9 conditions of Ba'ath, I welcome all of you to the Humanity First booth. My name is Masroor Sajid. I'm working with Humanity First USA as the country director in Liberia. And with this segment, I will introduce you to my 2 fellows in this team. First is, in the middle of it, Mr. Waleed Ahmed. He's Director of Programs for Humanity First USA. Waleed is serving Humanity First in several capacities for several years, and now, alhamdulillah, he's spearheading this Director Program as a Director of Programs. Next to Waleed is sitting Mr. Hassan Ahmed. Hassan Ahmed volunteered for 1 year with Humanity First USA, and he served in Humanity First Liberia under the direct instruction and wishes of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. So, Humanity First has a very close relationship, of course, with the Khilafat and also with serving humanity, which is the key aspect of an Ahmadi. So we will start with the aspect, and I will request Mr. Waleed to please introduce what key programs we have as Humanity First USA we are.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Humanity First as a whole has come a long way. We started in 90s from disaster relief. We were a small disaster relief organization. We expanded in 2000s. We expanded into human development, and now, alhamdulillah, we have projects in some of the projects that we call our Knowledge for Life, where we establish schools and serve communities with education, then Water for Life, global health. So there's a vast array of areas of expertise that we explore.
Sure. Give us an example what we are doing, for example, you mentioned disaster relief and you mentioned global health. Share with us what at a global level Humanity First is serving in different countries.
I would talk specifically about Humanity First USA. As you know, Humanity First is established in more than 44 countries right now. So Humanity First USA is responsible for about 12 countries in the developing world that we raise funds for, and we oversee and provide technical assistance to those countries.
So that is the structure of Humanity First USA Global, that there are donor countries and then there are recipient countries?
Yes, that's how the overall organization works. So we are, Humanity First USA is responsible for 12 countries, including USA. So we have projects internationally, but we have amazing projects going on within the USA as well.
So can you give us an example and Knowledge for Life, for example, here in USA or maybe abroad?
Yes, Knowledge for Life in the USA, we call it Our Kids, Our Future, where we work with schools in underserved communities. We go work with the teachers, work with the school administration, provide them with grants for projects which enhance learning ability of the students. Internationally, we've been establishing schools. Alhamdulillah, at this time, I feel very proud to say that Humanity First USA is operating 9 schools globally. 6 of them are in Mali, 1 in Haiti, 1 in Guatemala, and actually, sorry, it's 10. And we just completed 1 school in Tanzania also.
Tanzania.
So we have 10 schools that we are operating.
Tanzania was, the Nazira Yasa.
Yeah, the late Nazir
Yasa.
Yasa. He is such an amazing person. Yeah.
MashaAllah, he's a great patient. So, for our audience who would be interested, for example, to give their time for Humanity First, what would be the best way, especially, for example, in global health, how they can participate in global health?
I think if you remember, Masroor, we went to UK for our international conference in January 2015, and it was a very historic conference in which Hazur came and shared his thoughts with us. He gave us a policy guideline, if I call it that way. It's a direction for Humanity First globally, how to work, how to take passion of that serving humanity and serve them. So Hazur mentioned, I see you have the
Yes,
speech of
I
Hazur
would be
as
happy
well.
to read out few
Yes.
consent on that.
So
but
Hazur specifically mentioned that people from different professional backgrounds, like doctors can provide their professional services, engineers, teachers, and Hazur said these are some of the professions, but everyone, whatever expertise they have, they can serve humanity. And then Hazur also mentioned that people who are blessed with wealth, they should and they must contribute financially to serve humanity. So there are a number of ways.
So in
which
this
you can
particular
serve.
case, you mentioned last year, Hazur mentioned about the service. We have a very good example. Hassan participated.
Absolutely.
Hassan joined us. Hassan, can you please share with us, because you got the direct instruction or kind of a direction from Hazur what to do. Can you please share your experiences during the last visit?
Sure. I had the opportunity to go to the Humanity First conference, international conference in London, and that's where, when we had the meeting, when Hazur had the meeting with the U.S. team, he instructed, or he guided and recommended that I go to Liberia. So that's when it all started.
So why Liberia? Why there could be any other country, but why Liberia? Just Liberia?
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm not exactly sure why Liberia.
I'm just trying to associate
yeah.
that because Hazur has really vision. Hazur gave us a direction on every single project.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to see that, because we provided update to Hazur, and Hazur correlated that there is a need in Liberia.
Oh, yes.
In that particular project. So I
Right.
hope that was the reason. So can you please explain your personal experiences in Liberia?
Right. So I was assigned to the vocational school that we run in Monrovia.
Humanity
Liberia.
First Ahmadiyya
Yeah.
Vocational School,
Exactly.
are you referring?
Yes, the Humanity First. So, and there was also some other agricultural schools that we were looking into, but that was the main project that we were assigned to. And the other project was the Ebola Orphan Care Project, which was related to all the children whose parents were affected or passed away due to the Ebola epidemic that happened last year.
Humanity First contributed, during the Ebola. We provided personal PPEs, a lot of
Right.
PPEs. We provided a lot of other things we have, shipped to Liberia. So after this in Ebola, please share us how many students or how many orphans we facilitated and how much we spent.
So I think it was about $20,000 that we spent on identifying 100 students across 5 different counties across Liberia.
So you went, county to county personally with them?
Well, I didn't go personally, but we also had, a team of local murabbis and stuff that did a lot of the groundwork gathering.
So what kind of infrastructure for Humanity First we have in Liberia? Just if we talk about for a minute and then
Humanity First has, we have a school there. That's one of the main projects.
Main project.
Then we have some water well exploration project where we want to see where we want to do some water wells.
So
those are the two main projects.
you mentioned that
running
the
around.
main
We're
project
looking-
we have is the vocational school.
Yes.
So how many trades we are teaching there?
We have about 7 trades that they were teaching there. You know, stuff like auto mechanic, auto electrician, building electrician, plumbing. We were also extending. We're doing some kind of feasibility studies to extend into agriculture, which is kind of
On the similar
next-
ground, Walid, you mentioned that we have direct programs in different countries. So what we are doing in Mali, because I know you are personally involved in Mali too, give us some global health prospects or the project that we are doing in Mali.
Yes, sure. Before that, I want to share something about with the audience that when we were there in Hazur's office and we were actually having Humanity First USA team meeting with Hazur, in which Hazur directed to send him to Liberia. I just want to share that that's the way like we live our life. We sail back to the call of Khalifa. That was the time right at the end of Ebola crisis, when rest of the world was trying to shut down their doors to those countries where Ebola was spreading or they were impacted, and Hazur tells one person or Humanity First to send this guy to Liberia. And the whole organization is behind that. And that person, he is not thinking about Ebola, he's not thinking about the crisis, he's not thinking about disaster. All he knows is that this is the direction of Khalifa Waqt, that I need to go to Liberia. And he was there whenever we organized all the logistics.
Right.
So that's...
He survived.
And he survived and he's healthy and
Good shit.
mashallah, he did a great job over
I did
there.
get malaria once though.
Yeah.
But it was
You
okay.
got the
That's,
malaria,
that's,
but
that's very common in Africa. So
So, Walid, would you mind sharing your personal experience with Hazrat Khalifatul Masih on any particular project of Humanity First?
I've made this my habit that I always seek Hazur's guidance before I start a project. If I have an idea, I run it by Hazur somehow. I write letters, and whenever I'm coming back from my field missions, I go and have a mulaqat with Hazur, brief Hazur about what we've done and what we want to do, and seek his prayers and seek his guidance. And I've always received such amazing guidance from Hazur that he picks on things that we ignore, and somehow those are the critical things that without those things we may have done something wrong. And Hazur picks on those things and tell us do it this way. I would share one experience of prayers of Khalifa Waqt.
Sure. Sure.
That I met with a donor who wanted to fund a school in Mali. So I had the feasibility ready, I had the whole plan ready. I went to Mali, finalized all the details, came back and presented that project to Hazur, which Hazur graciously, alhamdulillah, approved.
But Hazur
But
said,
Hazur said that the person who wants to fund this school, he has taken too many responsibilities and he has certain other things that he needs to take care of first. So tell him to take care of those things first, and then he can do whatever he wants to do. Then Hazur, I said Hazur, as you say, and then Hazur smiled and he said, "Ab aap kya karenge? Aapka to donor maine le liya." And Hazur like jokingly said that, and I smiled and I said, Hazur, I just need your prayers. If you pray for me, Allah will
Project
give
will
me
be
more.
done.
Allah will give us more donors. And Hazur again smiled and he said, "Acha theek hai, main aapke liye dua karunga." And that was 2 weeks or 3 weeks before Jalsa Salana US in I think 2014. At the Jalsa, and I came back and I said Hazur has said not to ask that donor not to fund the school, but Hazur is praying for me.
Somebody
so
else.
something's going to happen. And at the Jalsa, we met with a person that I was not expecting that he's interested in doing something, and he came and he promised that he is going to fund school in Mali.
mashallah. So Humanity First has Hazur's prayers. So getting an experience from, first-hand experience from Hassan, tell us what you did in driving school. I know you raised some funds, you
Yeah.
personally got involved. It was very emotional. I read all those emails and impressions. Share with us what you did in driving school.
Sure. So one of the projects that I got involved in there, we observed that a lot of young people in Liberia and even older adults, they don't know how to drive. And that's a very important skill in the modern economy. You need to learn how to drive to even get to, say, a job interview. So we identified this as an opportunity to expand the vocational school. So we did, we did the market research, we did all the fundraising, we used a crowdfunding approach to do the fundraising, we did the budgeting, how much will it cost.
How single-handedly you raised?
Well, we together made a crowdfunded campaign, and we ended up raising about $5,000, which was able to cover the cost of the purchase of the vehicle.
So how much the impact was by adding this much money or this many cars into the driving trade?
So we were able to get about 10 students for the driving trade per month, and I think in terms of, we also, by introducing this program, we can help raise the financial status of the school itself by helping it be more self-sustainable. So that was
And
a
it's,
good one.
yeah, and driving in those countries is a good income generation
Yes.
opportunity for people living in impoverished communities.
Sure.
Because they can drive a taxi, they can do different things with that.
Right.
So based on your personal experience, you spent the whole year in
Yeah.
Liberia. What if I asked you, give me one particular tip if I would like to give to our audience, if they want to give some time, maybe 3 months, 6
Sure.
months, or a year,
Yeah.
what one thing you would want to tell them? Hey, give us your time.
Oh, well, if you want to do something like this, go for it and don't be scared. West Africa is a beautiful place. It's great weather, there's great food. It does take a time to get used to it, but a lot of people, they go, for example, they do Peace Corps or they do these type of things. So Empathy Youth can be looking into
So
volunteering.
not
their
only just
time.
the volunteer, they can enjoy the West African.
Oh yes, yes. Food, the coconut. I used to enjoy coconut water a lot every day, 30 cents. Over here it's like $1.
Very good.
So-
So no, great. Thank you so much, both Hassan and Waleed. But before we conclude, I just want to mention one personal story with this as well. One of my clients, he's a financial director in this institution. He mentioned when I shared that 95% or around 90% of our funds are actually directly impacting on the projects. So he mentioned that it's not possible here in U.S. Most of the time, 80 to 85% are going on to the overhead expenses, and 20 to 25 are only being spent on the project. He said Humanity First is different. So that's what the Humanity First is making impact. At the same time, with this statement, what we are including is, help us, all the audience, all the Ahmadis, non-Ahmadis, invite your friends. We have several projects going on globally. So we are going on globally. So my point is, we need you. We need, especially in social media. This is the message from the Executive Director, Munam Naeem Saab. He personally asked all the volunteers, all the community members, both male and female, please join us. We need you in social media team. We need you in IT. We need the project managers for management of the projects and programs globally. So help us with that. Visit our booth at Jalsa. Visit our commercial merchandise in the dining area. We would love to hear your suggestions, and also please stop by for a few minutes and listen to the stories, amazing stories. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being part of Humanity First and making difference. Thank you.